Dodger Baseball. Live from Dodger Stadium, KCAL 9 presents the Dodgers as they take on the San Francisco Giants. Hi, everybody, and a very pleasant Friday night to you, wherever you may be. Giants and Dodgers, something special with a ring to that. Last year, they played their 18. The Dodgers won 11 of the 18, winning 6 of 9 here. And tonight will be Game 1 of the 3-game series. We'll be looking tonight at Todd Wellmeyer, a 7-game winner with the Cardinals last year, against Vicente Padilla, who does most of his good pitching on the road. In fact, he is 4-3 lifetime against the Giants, 4-1 up in San Francisco. Tomorrow afternoon, the Cy Young Award winner for the last 2 years, Tim Lincecum, will be on the mound for the Giants. The Dodgers counter with knuckleballer Charlie Hager. Sunday, the battle of left-handers Barry Zito and Clayton Kershaw. We'll get to the ball game. We'll have it all coming up for you right after this. Is brought to you by Jack in the Box, where you can get anything on the menu any time of the day. And by Nissan, who invites you to shift the way you move. Hi, everybody, and a very pleasant good evening to you on this Friday night. Welcome to Dodger Stadium, where the greatest rivalry of them all is put on display, the Giants and the Dodgers. Last year, the Dodgers won 11 of the 18, won 6 out of 9 here, and you have a somewhat surprising Giant club that arrived. I'm not quite sure very many people thought they'd get out of the chute and win 7 out of 9. They arrive here in first place, 2 games in front of Arizona and Colorado, 3 games in front of the Dodgers. For the Giants, they are doing it after this great start. It compares to the best start they've had going back to 2003. They started out 8-1. And looking at the Giants, the first 11 days of the season, they've been in first place more than the last 3 years combined. So it's been a rather remarkable start for Bruce Bochy's boys. And as Bochy and his club arrives here, we can tell you that Bruce celebrating a birthday, and he is 55 today. And here's the Giant lineup trying to give him a present. Aaron Rowand in center field, Edgar Renteria at short, Pablo Sandoval at third, and Aubrey Huff in the cleanup spot at first. Mark DeRosa in left, Benji Molina behind the plate, John Boker in right field, Juan Uribe at second base, Todd Wellmeyer on the mound. On the mound for the Dodgers, Vicente Padilla, a 32-year-old right-hander who did well last year, a combined 12-6 record. He is 4-3 against the Giants. He is 4-1 up in San Francisco, though he has struggled a bit here. Last year, Padilla was extremely valuable coming over from Texas. He was 6-0 against National League opponents. So we'll see how he goes tonight as he checks in against Aaron Rowand. Rowand, the leadoff man for the Giants, trying to get them started in the right direction. The Giants, because their pitching has been so effective, they do not need a lot of runs to win. In fact, if they get 4 runs, their record is 6-1. And Rowand has a look at his strike, and the count 0-1. The Giants, if you go back to 1999, scored 872 runs. If you go to the year 2000, they scored 925. But the organization has really changed. Rowand fouls it back, and the count 0-2. Over the last 5 years, the Giants rank last among all major league teams in runs. 29th in home runs, 28th in walks, 25th in batting average, 30th in on-base percentage. I mean, the offense has just not been there for Bruce Bochy. The strike 2 pitch, Rowand fouls it away up along third out of play. The Giants have scored fewer than 700 runs in all but one of those 5 years, averaging about 675, when the average in the league is almost 750. So the offense left San Francisco, but they think maybe it has returned. It has certainly returned with brilliant pitching, and the strike 2 pitch is swung on and missed, and down goes Aaron Rowand. So Vicente Padilla starts off with a strikeout, and we will set the Dodgers defensively. Loney and DeWitt for Call and Blake, Ramirez, Kemp, and Ethier. The battery, Padilla and Martin. That's right, Russell Martin is still there, grinding away. Going into this game, for the last 3 games, Russell Martin caught 571 pitches. That's right, 571. Here's the veteran Edgar Renteria, off to a great start, hitting .382 with a home run and 5 runs batted in. Reports are that he's lost a step or two playing at shortstop, and he takes another strike, and the count 0-2. However, like all veterans, he might lose a step, but he's been around long enough to play the hitters particularly well. 34 years old in June. Edgar swings, doesn't get it. Down he goes. So Vicente Padilla opens up by striking out Rowand and Renteria. High fastball. And the batter now will be the Panda. And that, of course, is the catcher and third baseman, Pablo Sandoval. They're pretty much settled in at third base. One thing that the Giants could not do last year, they couldn't walk. They were last in the major leagues in walks. Sandoval takes low ball one, a very aggressive ball club, and they paid the price. So it'll be interesting to see if they draw very many walks and change. They come into this having walked 30 times. The 1-0 pitch to Sandoval is outside. 2-0 the count. Sandoval is ambidextrous. He can throw with either hand if necessary. We've talked about it before on television. If you look just under his left eye, you'll see a scar. He was bitten by his pet Doberman. Off-speed pitch in there for a strike. 2-1 the count. That was a big balloon that barely made it to the plate. The gun said 55 miles an hour. Probably used an hourglass on that one. Here's the 2-1 pitch to Sandoval, and he backs away. It's low and inside. Sandoval is 5'11" and may weigh as much as 260, maybe. They think that this would be the year he might very well win the batting championship. He's hitting .342. He's a remarkable hitter. 3-1 pitch is a ground ball to the right side. Nice easy hop to DeWitt. That'll be that. So 2 strikeouts and a ground ball, and Padilla sets the Giants down in order. And at the end of half an inning, Giants nothing, Dodgers coming up. Giant hitters who had the worst on-base percentage in 7 years. One big reason, the fact they wouldn't walk, and 2 of them walked the plank and struck out. Here's the Dodger lineup now. Rafael Furcal and Matt Kemp, followed by Andre Ethier and Manny Ramirez, James Loney and Casey Blake. Blake DeWitt starts again at second base. Russell Martin behind the plate, and Vicente Padilla on the mound. Todd Wellmeyer, big guy at 6'3", about 205 pounds, out of Louisville, Kentucky. He was originally a 4th-round pick by the Cubs back in 2000 out of Bellarmine College in Kentucky. Grew up a rabid Cubs fan, and his first pitch is off the plate to Furcal, ball 1. Rafael checking in, trying to get something started. Wellmeyer holds the ball at the belt. He was 7-10 for the Cardinals last year. Next pitch in for a strike, and the count 1-1. Rafael batting .317. Wellmeyer turns, ready, back he comes and drops it low. Ball 2, 2-1. For Wellmeyer, was drafted, and a dream came true, drafted by the club he loved, the Chicago Cubs. He grew up with a grandfather who loved them, so he did too. 2-1 pitch hits the plate umpire on the right foot. That would be Dan Iasonia, but he's okay. 3-1 the count. In May of 2003, Wellmeyer became the first Cub pitcher in history ever to register a save in his major league debut. Of course, when you think about it, they only started to have saves in 1969. Here's the 3-1 pitch, and Furcal takes a strike, and the count 3-2. Wellmeyer, after a few years with the Cubs, went to the Marlins, the Royals, and the Cardinals. 3-2 pitch, foul back. When you're up there against Wellmeyer, you're looking fastball, slider, and change. When the scouts talked about him, and if you're looking, you can understand, they say he has coat hanger shoulders. And when you look at those broad shoulders, they are Atlas-like. As he turns on the rubber, and the 3-2 pitch to Furcal is line foul into the chairs, well back of the Dodger dugout, and it's still 3-2. Wellmeyer, in February of this year, filed for free agency and signed a minor league contract with the Giants. But here he is. The 3-2 pitch on the way, and that's taken just inside ball 4. So it really points up the difference in the two clubs. The Giants rarely, if ever, walk, and the first Dodger hitter draws a walk. Let's take a look at the Giants defensively. Aubrey Huff and Juan Uribe, Edgar Renteria, Pablo Sandoval, Mark DeRosa, Aaron Rowand, and John Boker in the outfield, with Wellmeyer handled by Benji Molina. So the batter is Matt Kemp, who has a string going. He has homered in 3 straight games. He has 13 RBIs. Matt batting .333. So Furcal off the bag at first, nobody out. Wellmeyer at the belt, looking over his shoulder at Furcal, and the pitch to Kemp is low and inside. 1 ball and no strikes. Wellmeyer, one of the Giants' losing pitchers. They've only lost 2 games. He gave up 4 runs and 7 hits to the Braves, although his first 5 innings were scoreless. And he's made just 1 start against the Dodgers 2 years ago, and he gave up 3 runs in 6 innings. The 1-0 pitch is instead a throw to first for Furcal, diving back to the bag. Giants got off to a great start. They opened up by winning 4 straight. That's the fastest start since they went 7-0 back in 2003. The 1-0 pitch for Furcal bluffs, and there's a high fly ball into deep right center. Back there, Nolan going back. Oh, gone! Matt Kemp has homered in 4 straight games, and the Dodgers lead 2-0. Kemp, with his great power, hits a fastball into the seats in right center. Interesting, his home runs during this homestand have all gone to right and right center field. So just like that, the Dodgers jump out to a 2-0 lead, and the batter is Andre Ethier. Ethier missed a walk-off, honored before the game with the trophy, and takes one in the dirt. Ball 1. 1-0. So Andre Ethier following another home run by Matt Kemp. Was talking to Casey Blake in the Dodger dugout, perhaps about what to expect. Now the 1-0 pitch on the way, and Ethier fouls it back. The all-time walk-off Dodger hitters since they came out here in 1958. Dusty Baker had 14 walk-offs, Manny Mota 12, Ron Cey and Davey Lopes 11, Ethier has 10, and Steve Garvey had 10. Here's the 1-1 pitch on the way, foul back, 1-2 the count. So the Dodgers on a walk and a home run by Matt Kemp. Boy, that's something, to homer in 4 straight games. Of course, for Matt Kemp, he could amaze us throughout his career. He has so much ability. Here's the 1-2 pitch on the way, and Ethier drives one to right. Dodger goes back, and this could be a line drive into the bleachers. And the Dodgers lead 3-0. Home run, his second of the year, and the firm of Ethier, Kemp, and Ramirez is certainly ready to go. And talking about Ramirez, he's coming up to the plate. More line drive than anything. It landed on the stairs just back of the scoreboard in right field. And the Dodgers jump out in front 3-0, and here's Manny, and he takes high, 1 ball and no strikes. So a walk to Furcal, a home run by Kemp, a home run by Ethier, and the Dodgers lead 3-0. And the fastball at the knees for a strike. With the 3 home runs, the Dodgers now have hit 12. Their pitching staff has given up 10. So Wellmeyer has to be shaken to his roots in this first inning. The 1-1 pitch, big ground ball to the left, and Torria moves over to pick it up and throw him out. So the first out made by Ramirez on a ground ball to short. We mentioned earlier that today marks the 55th birthday of Bruce Bochy, the Giants manager, and it also marks the 56th birthday of Dodger general manager Ned Colletti. Of course, for Bruce Bochy, Ned Colletti was born in the Chicago area. But Bochy is one of the rare managers who was born out of the country. He was born in France. The first pitch in for a strike to Loney, 0-1 the count. Lan de Boussac in France is where Bruce was born. Big fella, 6'4", 220, a fine catcher in his day, and a really nice guy. Loney fouls another one off, and the count 0-2. Todd Wellmeyer gave up a home run. I think the home run was given up to Jason Haywood, that wonderkind with the Atlanta Braves, 20 years old. Loney way out in front of a change. Down he goes. Little slow breaking ball. So we have 2 down, 3 runs in, and the batter, Casey Blake. You know, I can go back with Giant Dodger rivalries. I mean, I can go back a way bit. And I remember in the early 50s, sometimes I really was a little afraid to go to the ballpark of a Giant Dodger game because they were such bitter games. When Charlie Dressen managed the Dodgers and Leo DeRocher managed the Giants, you really worried about knockdowns and pitches at heads. And it was different. And I was just thinking, of course, it's a lot different now. The 1-0 pitch in for a strike. But the thought of the New York Giants wearing Jackie Robinson's number is heresy. But it doesn't mean anything now. It's just a tribute to a great man. 1-1 pitch is pulled foul. In fact, thinking of another note about the Giants wearing Jackie's number, Jackie called it a career because the Dodgers were going to trade him to the hated Giants for a little left-hand pitcher named Dick Littlefield. And Jack said, no, there's no way I'm going to wear a Giant uniform. And he hung it up. The 1-2 pitch is off the plate, 2-2. Don Newcomb is here. Newcomb loved to tantalize Leo DeRocher, who was then married to Lorraine Day, the actress. And Nuke would go by DeRocher and say, are you still wearing Lorraine's perfume? There's a flare into left field. A base hit for Casey Blake. So Blake singles to left, and the batter will be Blake DeWitt as the Dodgers have jumped out to a 3-0 lead in the first inning. Dodgers beat the Giants 6 out of 9 here last year. So Todd Wellmeyer opened up by walking for call. Matt Kemp homered in the 4th consecutive game. Ethier then homered to right. And now with 2 out, a single by Blake, and Wellmeyer getting ready to make his 26th pitch of the inning. Right-hander set at the belt. Here he comes, and DeWitt pulls it foul on the ground outside of first and down the line. 0-1 the count. Dodger offense last night had 13 hits. Dodgers lead the major leagues coming into this game with a .316 batting average. They're 3rd in the majors in runs scored, and they put it to the Giants early. Now the strike 1 pitch on the way. DeWitt, it's a ground ball to the right side. Up with it is Uribe, and that'll be that. But the Dodgers get 3 on 2 home runs. Matt Kemp with Percall aboard, and that was his 4th straight game with a home run. And then Andre Ethier, Mr. Closer, decides to hit one out in the 1st inning in the opener, and it's 3-0 Dodgers. Vicente Padilla throws one of those balloons up at 54 miles an hour. This one misses, and we have a 1-ball, no strike count on Aubrey Huff. Padilla comes back, another change, and that's low, ball 2. Aubrey Huff, born in Marion, Ohio, lives in St. Petersburg, Florida, a 5th round pick with the Devil Rays. Now the 2-0 pitch to the left-hand batter. That's in for a strike, and the count 2-1. Aubrey had a terrible tragedy very early in his life. His dad, the old thing about being in the wrong place at the wrong time as he takes a pitch away. His dad, an electrician, and there was a family fight, and minding his own business, Aubrey's dad was shot and killed. 3-1 pitch is off the plate. So a very tough way for a young man to begin life, but he's battled nicely. He's 33. He'll be 34 not quite a week before Christmas. So Huff, who earlier this year had a home run inside the park, now takes a walk, and again, that's going to be a big indication on whether the Giants have improved or not. And here's Mark DeRosa. DeRosa off to a slow start, hitting .200, a home run and 5 runs batted in. Mark takes a look at the strike, and the count 0-1. Mark's dad wanted to be a pro baseball player. His father, John, never quite could cut it. But the grandmother used to say to John, "Don't worry, your son will make it someday." And sure enough, Mark did. The strike one pitch, check swing, low and away, and a 1-ball, 1-strike count. Mark, born in Passaic, New Jersey, his dad went to Fairleigh Dickinson, has been living in Atlanta, and of course went to the University of Pennsylvania, and he was a solid quarterback for 3 years. Huff at first, held on by Loney. It's 3-0 Dodgers, second inning. Right-hander Padilla delivers, fires a strike. Well, he gets out in front of the count, 1-2. When Mark DeRosa was growing up in Passaic, New Jersey, he was a rabid Yankees fan, and his favorite player is in the Dodger dugout, Don Mattingly. 1-2 the count. Padilla at the belt, looks over his left shoulder at Huff, comes back to his hitter, and it is swung on and missed. 3 strikeouts for Vicente, and with 1 out, the batter will be Bengie Molina. Fastball letter high, DeRosa couldn't catch up to it, and now here is Bengie. Molina has always been a power pack for the Giants. He's hitting .480. They have .455 up on the board. Remember, this is a team, the Giants, that have 7 hitters at .300 or better. Molina, right-hand hitter, waiting, takes a look, and that's high, ball 1. The 7, Renteria, Sandoval, Uribe, Rowan, and then backup players, Velez and the catcher Whiteside. Of course, Molina is extremely aggressive at the plate. Talking about the Giants not walking, he walked only 13 times all last year. Here's the 1-0 pitch on the way. Bengie takes a strike, and the count 1-1. Giants did one thing to try and change things, and they have a different hitting coach to see if that wouldn't get the message over to this very aggressive club. 1-1 the count. Padilla at the belt, looks over his shoulder at Huff, back to Molina, swung on and fouled back, and the count 1-2. The new hitting coach is Hensley Mullins, who played a lot with the Yankees, then played several years in Japan, came back and played with the Expos and the Diamondbacks. He's from Curacao. 1-2 the count to Molina. Huff at first, 1 out, 3-0 Dodgers, top of the second inning, on home runs by Kemp and Ethier. The next one in the dirt, blocked by Martin. So Russell Martin, really an Iron Man right now, and admittedly it's only the start of the year, but nevertheless, we told you that pitch count of the last 3 games, he caught 571 pitches. Took almost 9 hours to play the games, and he's right back in there. Tomorrow afternoon, Tim Lincecum, Charlie Hager, and then Sunday, Barry Zito, Clayton Kershaw. Talking about Lincecum and comparing him to Vicente Padilla. Here's the 2-2 pitch coming up to Bengie Molina, and that's high, ball 3. They have a thing today they call sloth, S-L-O-T-H. It stands for seconds to launch 1 throw home. And they time the pitches. The fastest is Tim Lincecum. Takes him about 8 seconds to get the ball and make the pitch. One of the slowest is Padilla. It takes him 11.5 before he throws to the plate. Throw to first, Aubrey Huff back on the bag. Of course, pitching has been a Giant stronghold for quite a while. The 1981 Giants were the first team in Major League Baseball history to have more shutouts than complete games. Think about that. Here's the 3-2 pitch. Well, watch Huff. He goes. Molina fouls it back. The 1981 Giant team had 9 shutouts and only 8 complete games. Then the Cubs came along with 10 shutouts, 9 complete. The Mets, 15 shutouts, 12 complete. the championship San Diego club. 17 shutouts, 13 complete. And Houston in 1986 had 19 shutouts, only 18 complete games. 3-2, they figure to run Huff again. They know Molina's not going to walk. Sure enough, he hits one foul out of play. So Benji Molina battling Vicente Padilla. Dodgers on home runs by Kemp with a man aboard. Ethier with nobody on. Lead 3-0. Way back in 1972, the late Willie Crawford homered in home game number 1. Then he didn't play in the second home game. And then Willie came back and homered in games 3, 4, and 5. So he didn't hit in 4 straight, but 3 out of 4. Matt Kemp, you may remember last year, homered in 4 straight, starting August the 29th through September 1. 3-2 to Benji Molina. Huff has gone twice. He'll go again. Padilla turns, throws, but not going after him, just kind of lobbed it over there. 3-2 the count to Benji Molina. Giant catcher, stocky right-hand hitter, 5'11", 225 from Puerto Rico. Huff ready to go. Padilla set. There goes Huff, and Molina pops it up. Towering pop fly. The middleman is DeWitt, but Blake behind the mound makes the catch for the out. So Molina pops it up. 2 down, and the batter now will be John Boker. The beach is back. Bleacher Beach at Dodger Stadium, open Friday through Sunday, and beach bums enjoy unlimited food, private beach party, compliments of Bud Light, and this weekend fans receive a Bleacher Beach towel. For tickets, visit Dodgers.com/beach or call 866-DODGERS. 2 down, second inning. Dodgers lead the Giants 3-0. John Bowker checking in at the plate. Padilla ready and deals, and the left-hand hitter pulls away. It's low and inside. Ball 1, 1-0. Talking about Matt Kemp hitting home runs in consecutive games. Bowker is the first San Francisco player in history to homer in his first 2 games. Born in Sacramento, went to Long Beach State. The 1-0 pitch to John. Left-hand hitter hits a little flare foul out of play into the crowd behind the Dodger dugout. He was drafted in 2004 in the 34th round out of Long Beach. He has some power. He had 21 home runs at Fresno. He had 10 for the Giants 2 years ago. Bowker has moved up on the plate. Left-hand hitter takes up and in. Ball 2, 2-1. In the Giant organization, especially when he was at Fresno, they had him move up, and it seemed to pay off. Came to the Giants and hit 10. And last year, showing signs he was ready, he hit 21 at Fresno. 2-1 pitch on the way. Bowker is late, and a 2-2 count. Bowker was a sometimes first baseman, but he was really only learning the position. Basically, he's an outfielder. And of course, then they got Aubrey Huff, and that was that. 3-0 Dodgers, top of the second, 2 out. 2-2 the count to Bowker with Juan Uribe on deck. Padilla at the belt. Again looks over at Aubrey Huff. Now the 2-2 pitch on the way. Bowker takes in at the knuckles. Ball 3. 3-2. Padilla making only 12 pitches in the first inning. He has 3 strikeouts. Vicente had a bad first start, so trying to make amends tonight. 3-2. They're not going to hold Huff with 2 outs, so Aubrey goes, and the pitch is fouled back to the screen. Tim Lincecum and Charlie Hager tomorrow. Barry Zito and Clayton Kershaw on Sunday. If Barry Zito pitches like he did in the second half of last year, the Giants will have some good times. Last year, in his 15 starts in the second half, his earned run average was 2.8. Here's the 3-2 pitch, swung on and missed. Fourth strikeout for Vicente Padilla, basically getting the hitters out by staying up around the letters. And at the end of an inning and a half, 3-0 Dodgers. Consecutive home runs by Kemp and Ethier. Kemp with a man aboard, leading the Giants 3-0, bottom of the second inning. Russell Martin will start it off, then Vicente Padilla and Rafael Furcal against Todd Wellmeyer. Russell Martin leads the major leagues in on-base percentage, and he is third in the National League with 9 walks. So he's off to a great start, hitting .364 and takes ball 1-0. Dodgers going against Wellmeyer. Martin 2 for 3 with a couple of RBIs against him. He takes off the plate, ball 2. Ethier with his home run is 2 for 4 against him. Kemp with his home run, 2 for 4 against Wellmeyer. So Martin waiting on a 2-0 pitch, swung on, a little roll to short. Renteria lets it come to him and then throws to first for the out. 1 away. The batter will be Vicente Padilla. Vicente Padilla went a couple of years before he got an RBI. He had his first RBI in 2005 and then got one last year in September. His first hit last year in September, first one coming since 2007. So Padilla has never been much of a threat. Up on the board they put happy birthday Ned Colletti, the Dodger general manager, and they might very well balance the books. Happy birthday to Bruce Bochy. 2-0 the count, and the pitch to Padilla. He looks at a strike, and the count 2-1. Three runs, 3 hits for the Dodgers. Padilla takes way off the plate. So 3-1 the count. In a starting rotation of 5, and this is not really to knock him, but Wellmeyer would be the weakest link of the 5. 3-1 pitch, and that's low, ball 4. I mean, when you look at the Giants staff, you start with Tim Lincecum, right? Then you come right back with Matt Cain. Then you come right back with Jonathan Sanchez. And then if Boshi gets that second half performance of Barry Zito, that's the best pitching staff in the National League, don't you think? With Wellmeyer being the questionable fifth. Here's Furcal, walked in the first inning and walked home on the home run by Matt Kemp. They're not going to hold Padilla. Aubrey Huff off the bag. Padilla behind him. Wellmeyer set at the belt. Todd ready. Here he comes, and Furcal takes ball one. Of course, there also has to be a little psychological weight on Wellmeyer. He's got to be saying to himself, wow, you know, Lincecum and Kane, Sanchez and Zito, and here I am struggling with a new club. 1 ball and no strikes. Wellmeyer comes back and it's fouled away. Big swing. Boy, Furcal swung from the heels, almost broke his shoelaces, came staggering out of the box. 1 ball and 1 strike. I mean, he really let it fly. Tried to hold up and did a little pirouette. Raphael, the switch hitter, batting left-handed and hitting .364 from this side, lashes 1 foul upstairs off third base. Still 1-2. Hitting .125 right-handed and .364 left. Beautiful evening, 64 degrees at the start of the game. Wellmeyer at the belt. Padilla short lead at first, and now Wellmeyer backs off the rubber. Furcal had never faced him until tonight, and he walked his first at bat. The 1-2 pitch. Raphael lines it into left field for a base hit. Backhanded out there by DeRosa, who gets it back in. Padilla stops at second, and the Dodgers are after Wellmeyer again. So now here comes Matt Kemp, who homered with a man aboard following the line drive single by Raphael Furcal. So Furcal at first, Padilla at second, 1 out, and Kemp at the plate. When Matt hit his home run, it's his 5th of the year, so that gave him 5 of the 10 Dodger home runs, and then Ethier followed him with a blast. Wellmeyer out of a stretch. Big fella deals off the plate. Ball 1. So he started off his own problems by walking Furcal in the first inning. He commits the sin of walking the opposing pitcher here in the second inning, and then gives up the single to Furcal. 1-0 to Matt Kemp. Wellmeyer ready. Todd delivers and drops it low. Ball 2. 2-0. Of course, pitching like that, pitching from behind, rarely if ever going to hang around very long. He's also a doubtful pitcher in one thing. Last year, he allowed the highest opponent's batting average among all major league pitchers. You know what the major league hitters hit against him last year? .328. I mean, that is really something. In breaking it down, left-handers hit .351 with 16 home runs. Right-handers hit .305 with 3 home runs. And the next one high and tight, and down goes Kemp. So Matt up out of the dirt. Fastball up and in. Well, I was talking about those old days with Charlie Dressen and Leo DeRocher. You saw a lot of that. Don't see much of it at all anymore, but it is the Giants and the Dodgers. 2 on, 1 out, 3-0 Dodgers, second inning. Wellmeyer looks at the runners and the 3-1 pitch, and Matt takes high, ball 4, and the bases are loaded. So Kemp moves to first, Furcal to second. Padilla goes over to third, and the batter is Andre Ethier. Wellmeyer has had a lot of problems as he talks to Dave Righetti. He had a back problem, then a sprained right shoulder, then he sprained his right elbow. That elbow has had inflammation so he had a lot of trouble extending his arm, and last year more right elbow inflammation. So he's a big fella who obviously has a lot of talent, but has been plagued with physical problems. And he is in trouble now with the bases loaded, 1 out, and Andre Ethier checking in. Where Kemp hit a towering drive to right center, Andre's home run was a bullet over the scoreboard in right. Andre not hitting well with bases loaded. He has never had a grand slam. So a chance to get rich in a hurry. Ethier waiting, and the pitch is swung on, a high drive to center. Back goes Rowan, the way back. There it is. Grand slam number 1. Mark down the date. Andre Ethier hits his first grand slam, and the Dodgers are sitting on top of a 7-0 lead. The 3rd home run of the night, and Andre Ethier's 2nd. After Kemp walked, Andre lowered the boom. 7 runs, 5 hits for the Dodgers, 3 of them home runs. Andre on his steps to acknowledge the curtain call, and here's Manny taking a strike, and the count 0-1. Breaking it down, Kemp in his career 44 home runs at home and 22 on the road. Ethier 51, now 52 home runs at home. Little dribble at a third. On it is Sandoval to throw out Manny. Ethier 26 career home runs on the road. Loney 12 home runs at home and 33 on the road. So Andre Ethier clears the barrier in center, and the Dodgers lead 7-0. His 52nd home run at home. So Manny Ramirez taps to third for the 2nd out, and here's James Loney, who struck out in the 1st inning. Good breaking ball in for a strike, and the count 0-1. I was just thinking about saying Ethier's never had a grand slam, and he hits it over the center field wall. Here's the strike 1 pitch on the way, and Loney takes outside. I remember doing an all-star game. Fred Lynn came up to the plate with the bases loaded, and having done the research, I said, there's never been a grand slam in the all-star game. There goes a long drive. There it was. Pitch in for a strike to Loney, in the count 1-2. Waldis Joaquin is throwing now in the Giant bullpen. Wellmeyer has certainly been far from impressive, and he has really dug a huge hole for Giant hitters. The 1-2 pitch, Loney holds up, and it's a 2-ball, 2-strike count. 7 runs, 5 hits for the Dodgers. No runs, no hits for the Giants. 3 in the 1st for the Dodgers, and a big 4 here in the 2nd. Now the 2-2 pitch on the way is taken. Strike 3 calls. So Loney strikes out a 2nd time, but it's a slam for Andre Ethier. And at the end of 2, Dodgers 7, Giants 9. second home run of the year and the first grand slam of his young career. It's 7-0 Dodgers, and Juan Uribe, the second baseman, leads off and takes a strike. Uribe followed by Wellmeyer. The strike one pitch, and Uribe takes off the plate. Juan is from Bani in the Dominican Republic and was originally signed by the Rockies. He doesn't look like a second baseman, looks more like a catcher or maybe an outfielder. He's 5'11" and 220. That's a big man around the bag at second base. The first contract that the Rockies offered Uribe, his dad said, no, my son is not for sale. The next pitch, a chopper up the middle, Blake behind the bag. DeWitt fires to first in time for the out. So Uribe taps out, one away, and the batter will be Todd Wellemeyer. Bruce Bochy not about to lift a starting pitcher so early, even though he's been buried under 7 runs and 5 hits. So Wellmeyer checks in. Padilla ready and delivers, starts him with a strike. So in direct contrast, Padilla is getting that first pitch strike and Wellmeyer is not. Strike one pitch on the way is fouled off. I think one reason that the Giants decided to gamble with Wellmeyer, despite that .328 batting average for the opponents, despite the fact his earned run average last year was almost 6, the fact that he was effective inside the Western Division. When pitching against the National League West, Wellmeyer's record is 9-4. Here's the 1-2 pitch, and Todd takes high. 2-2. Game 1 of the 3-game series, Sunset Sunday. The Dodger homestand will be over, and the Dodgers then will take the road to Cincinnati, Washington, and New York, coming back to play Pittsburgh, Milwaukee, and Colorado. Next one is swung on and missed, and down goes Wellmeyer. A rather frustrating evening for him, and for Padilla, 5 strikeouts. So as Wellmeyer goes back to the dugout, Dodgers lead 7-0. Aaron Rowan opened up the ball game and struck out. So the center fielder 0 for 1, batting .311. Giants making a big deal with Philadelphia to get Rowan. May or may not be disappointed as he lifts one back at first. Racing over is Blake DeWitt behind Loney, and DeWitt makes the catch for the out. So Rowan doesn't hang around. Down go the Giants, and at the end of 2.5 innings, 7-0 Dodgers. On a roll, leading 7-0, has struck out 5 in 3 innings, and he has done it on 48 pitches. Today also got a walk and scored a run when Ethier hit the grand slam. So now Casey Blake, Blake DeWitt, and Russell Martin against Todd Wellmeyer. And the first pitch almost hits him, turns him around a little bit. 1 ball and no strikes. Next one in for a strike. 1-1 the count. The Dodgers will be looking at probably the best in the league. In fact, erase the word probably. Tim Lincecum tomorrow. The 1-1 pitch foul back. Lincecum, the Cy Young Award winner in 2008, came right back and won again last year. Lincecum is 3-1 in his career against the Dodgers. He had beaten them 3 straight, and the Dodgers finally nailed him in his last start last year. Ground ball to Huff. He will feed his man coming over for the out. 1 away, and Blake DeWitt will be coming up. You know, Sunday with the Giants, and that should be a good one. Barry Zito and Clayton Kershaw. The first 50,000 fans in attendance take home an L.A. My Town hat presented by Farmer John. For tickets, visit Dodgers.com or call 866-DODGERS today. 1 away in the 3rd. And here's DeWitt. Last time the Dodgers saw Lincecum, they roughed him up a little bit. Scored 5 earned runs against him in 4 innings. But he is a remarkable young pitcher. Strike 1 pitch in there. 0-2 the count. 7 runs, 5 hits for the Dodgers. 2-run home run by Furcal, a solo home run by Ethier, and then a grand slam by Ethier, and the pitch inside. So Andre has 5 RBIs tonight for Ethier to add the 5 to his record. That gives him 12 runs batted in. Matt Kemp has 15. The 1-2 pitch on the way, chased and fouled back to the screen. So Lincecum and Hager tomorrow. Zito and Kershaw on Sunday. Kershaw, the youngster, going up against the veteran Zito. The 1-2 pitch off the plate. Check swing. They look at third. No swing, says Mark Wegner. And a 2-2 count. Dodgers have won 2 out of 3 at home. They've lost 4 out of 6 on the road. Giants won 4 out of 6 at home, and they had a perfect 3-0 mark on the road. DeWitt goes after a pitch up and comes up empty and strikes out. It would be the 3rd strikeout for Todd Wellmeyer. Talking about strikeouts, last year the Giant pitching staff, led by Lincecum, led the National League in strikeouts. They struck out 1,302 hitters. That's news. You know the staff that's been usually leading the league in strikeouts, striking out the opposition, I mean, the Chicago Cubs. The last time a staff other than the Cubs led the league in strikeouts would be 2000, and then last year with the Giants. 2-0 pitch on the outside corner for a strike, and they count 2-1. And of course, when you talk about pitchers striking out people, and you read a history book about the then New York Giants, you always think about Carl Hubbell and the 1934 All-Star game, when Hubbell struck out Babe Ruth, Lou Gehrig, Jimmy Fox, Al Simmons, and Joe Cronin consecutively. How about that one? 2-1 pitch on the way is a roller up the middle. Renteria with plenty of time, and that will do it for Martin and for the Dodgers. So Wellmeyer has retired 5 in a row, but walks off losing 7-0. last night in the 10th inning. He came up when after a pitch down from Blaine Boyer, hit it over the head of Chris Young for a single, and the Dodgers won that game. Then tonight, he walks up in the first inning, hits a line drive home run over the scoreboard in right field, and then in the second inning, no sooner do you say he has never hit a grand slam, he does just that. So Ethier and Kemp on a tear, and the Dodgers lead 7-0. 9 times now in his young career, he's had a multi-home run game. So Vicente Padilla, throwing strikes, has struck out 5. He's been supported with the strong attack, and he'll now face Renteria, Sandoval, and Huff in that order. Reed Johnson is now in left field for Manny Ramirez. So Torrey, with a 7-0 lead, decides he can give Manny a rest. So Reed Johnson is out there. Edgar Renteria, the boy from Barranquilla in Colombia, struck out in the first inning and pops it up on the right side. DeWitt goes out. Ethier comes in. DeWitt. 1 away. The next 5 Dodger games, remember, tomorrow with the Giants on the Fox network. Then Sunday we'll be back here on Prime. Then the Dodgers on the road. Tuesday in Cincinnati on KCAL. Wednesday and Thursday with the Reds. Prime ticket. Dodgers have a lot of work to do on the road. Cincinnati, Washington, and New York. Big balloon in for a strike to Sandoval. Pablo hitting .333 with a home run and 4 runs batted in. It was Barry Zito who went to the movies and saw the Panda movie and decided that fits Sandoval, and a comebacker to Padilla, and just like that, the Panda back to the bench. 2 out in the 4th inning. 8 in a row retired by Vicente Padilla. And Aubrey Huff checking in. That's a strike. 0-1 the count. It was Wednesday when Aubrey Huff became the first Giants player to hit an inside the park home run as his first home run as a Giant. Ground ball to first. Loney will take that to the bag, and that's that. Padilla's making it look easy. He's retired 9 in a row, and at the end of 3.5 innings, Dodgers 7, Giants nothing. Is brought to you by the U.S. Army. For more information, visit GoArmy.com. 7-0 Dodgers, bottom of the 4th inning. It'll be Padilla for Call and Kemp. We mentioned earlier that Reed Johnson took over for Manny Ramirez, and we just assumed in a 7-0 game that Joe Torre wanted to give him the rest of the night off. But that's not the answer, because now we get the report Manny left with tightness in his right calf. So it's a long year. They don't want him to tear anything. 0-2 the count to Vicente Padilla. Earlier tonight I was talking about the feeling that's so different when we were in Brooklyn and the Polo Grounds when the Giants and the Dodgers played. Little roller to third, big bouncer, Sandoval takes care, one away. And here's a classic story. True. Giants Dodgers playing in Ebbets Field. Sal Maglin's playing for the Giants, then a hated player in the borough. They called him the barber because he would give so many Dodger hitters a shave, throwing up at the chin. Jackie Robinson came up against Sal Maglie, and Maglie started off with a pitch up at Jackie's chin like he did with everybody else. So Robinson decided, okay, I'm gonna bunt up along first, and if Maglie comes to field that bunt, I am just gonna knock him into right field. That's a strike for a call. Well, the way the play went, the bunt was wide at first, so Maglie was able to field it. Jackie couldn't get at him, but there was a little second baseman with the Giants in those days. That is going to land in front of wrong. So for call, a pop fly single, and the batter will be Matt Kemp. Anyway, Davey Williams was covering first, and Davey Williams was the closest friend of the Giants captain, shortstop Alvin Dark. Well, all Jackie knew was that Giant uniform was at first base, and Davey Williams was a small second baseman. Jackie, as you know, a former running back at UCLA, etc. He hit Davey Williams, and I mean drove him into right field. Unfortunately, Davey Williams never played another game. That's ball one to Matt Kemp. Well, anyway, when the inning ended, and we told you that Dark was the captain, and I could look down into the visitors' dugout in Ebbets Field. And as the Giants came off the field, Dark stood at the top of the steps of the dugout and told each player to go all the way down the stairs. Fouled away, 1-1. So that really caught my eye. Where are they all going? And everybody went down except the pitcher, Maglie. Well, later I found out that Dark said to the other players, he was so furious over Robinson knocking Davey Williams into right field. He said, whoever gets to second base, don't stop. Jackie was playing third. And who do you think's the guy who's going to do it? It turns out to be Alvin Dark. He hits a ball in the gap to right center for an easy double, and he's not going to stop. Ball two. Well, of course, we didn't know what was going on. So Dark rounds second. The ball's already back in the infield. And here comes Alvin Dark, who was a running back at Louisiana State in his college days. And there is Jackie Robinson, a running back from UCLA. And when Jack saw Dark, he knew all about it. There was a collision at third base, the likes of which you never saw. I mean, you want to talk about tackling a dummy in football practice. It was horrific. Kemp fouling another one, 2-2 the count. So Dark hit him as hard as he could. Jackie had braced himself. He knew Alvin was coming. Robbie had the ball in his hand. So all he had to do was survive the collision, which he did. Held on to the ball, and Dark was out. But that's the way they played in those days. And in a sense, thank goodness they don't play that way anymore, because in those days, they really risked injury almost every time they took the field. And riding the elevator is Matt Kemp. Home run, walk, and now strikeout. 4 strikeouts for Wellmeyer. And the batter, Andre Ethier, the man of the night. 2 home runs, 5 runs batted in. The second one, a grand slam. Dodgers 7 runs, 6 hits. Giants nothing across. Padilla has retired 9 in a row. in the dirt, gets away from Molina, but Furcal will hold it first. Interesting to break down the pitcher, Wellmeyer. When Ethier came up with the bases loaded, Wellmeyer had fallen behind on the first pitch to 9 of the previous 11 hitters. So Ethier hit the first pitch for the grand slam. Another footnote about Andre. Here's the 1-0 pitch on the way, and that's low. Ethier has 9 career multi-home run games. He had 6 last year, 1 shy of Beltre's Dodger record, which he set in 2004. Yeah, another thought, it's a far cry from Brooklyn and New York when you're talking about Andre and Adrian. Foul ball, 2-1. 7 runs, 6 hits for the Dodgers, nothing for the Giants. Game 1 of the 3, game 1 of the 18. And for Padilla, through 4 innings, he has been brilliant. He has not allowed a ball to be hit out of the infield. Retired 9 in a row and struck out 5. 2-1. That's a strike. Wellmeyer gave up 3 in the first and 4 in the second. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Still 2-2. Oh, is she happy? Good for you. Two balls, 2 strikes, 2 out. Rafael Furcal at first. Dodgers lead 7-0 in the 4th inning. Ground ball. Uribe up with it to take care of it. So the Dodgers get a base hit and nothing else. And at the end of 4, still hold on 7-0 behind Vicente Padilla. Brought to you by Carl's Jr. $6 burgers made with 100% Black Angus beef, and by Southwest Airlines. 7-0 in favor of the Dodgers. Big difference in the pitching. Todd Wellmeyer has made 30 more pitches than Padilla in 4 innings. 30. Padilla had made 52. Wellmeyer had made 82. 1 ball and no strikes to Mark DeRosa. Little flare to right field, and it will drop. So DeRosa hits a little single into right field to break the string and the spell. Through 4 innings, Padilla had not given anything but a walk. Now the first hit. He had retired 9 in a row. That comes to an end. And the batter is Benji Molina. Molina popped up in the second inning. Kept getting a lot of 3-2 pitches and finally hit it up in the air. Benji, one of 3 active catchers to have won multiple Gold Gloves. Rodriguez 13, Ausmus 3, Molina 2. The National League Gold Glove winner at catcher back in 1965 was Joe Torre. And another base hit. First and third. You know, when we were in the commercial break, we had a shot of Vicente Padilla sitting in the dugout. And although he had not said anything to anybody, you looked at him and you thought, wait a minute, there's something going on there. Well, maybe not. Maybe just that's the way he is before going out to the mound. But he was rubbing his elbow. It looked like he was having a terrible time. Take a look. And then go get him. And he goes out there and gives up back-to-back singles. So first and third, nobody out. And here's John Boker. A strike. 0-1. Barker struck out in the second inning. So he has DeRosa down the line from third, Molina at first, and nobody out. A broken bat, a little hopper to Casey Blake, an awkward play, but he makes it. So Casey makes a good play on John Bowker on that broken bat. It moves Molina to second. So second and third, 1 out. And Juan Uribe coming up with a chance, definitely, of getting the Giants on the scoreboard. Uribe, one of 9 children in the family. The town, Bonnie, had produced people like Miguel Tejada, Rafael Landestoy. He was the youngest of the 9. And he made it. Came up with the Rockies in 2001. Ball 1. Uribe was talking about the scout who said to his father, "How much do you want for your son?" Well, his father had trouble with English, didn't know anything about negotiations, and that's when he said, "For my son there is no price." He thought they were really buying Uribe. Foul ball into the lower deck. Well, it wasn't much money. He only got signed for $6,000. The Rockies had budgeted $5,000 to sign him. They gave him $6,000, and then just to soften the mood of his father, they added $200. Second and third. DeRosa and Molina, 1 out. Uribe trying to get somebody home. 1-2. Pinch hitter on deck, number 42. And of course, everybody wears 42. We think that's Nate Shearholtz. Remember, the Dodgers celebrated Jackie Robinson night yesterday. That's going to be hit to the gap in right center, and it's going to be 2 runs. And you just wonder again, watching Padilla rub that elbow before he went to the mound. Suddenly he goes out. He had retired 9 in a row, and he's given up 3 hits to 4 batters here in the 5th inning. So Uribe a long single to drive in 2. So the pinch hitter coming up, and Eric Smith said it's pitcher Todd Wellmeyer, but it's not. And now he's probably asking Giant writers, who is this? It's probably Nate Scherholz. We're pretty sure. Nate, left-hand hitting outfielder, checking at the plate, hitting .286. Wanted to explain why they all wear 42 again today. Number one, the Giants did not play yesterday, so they could not celebrate Robinson Day. And number two, remember, all of the jerseys are auctioned off for charity, but they have to be game-worn jerseys. So in order for the Giants to auction off their jerseys, they had to wear them, and the Dodgers obliged. So they're all wearing 42. Scherholz hitting .286. One out. Scherholz, a throwback player, but he has changed. He never wore gloves, batting gloves. He used to wear them in batting practice, but not during the game, and now he has joined the club. Nate, like a professional golfer who would always take his glove off before he would putt because he had to feel. The same for Scherholz up until this year. 2-1 the count. 2-2. Scherholz was born in Reno, lives in Danville, went to Shabbat Junior College, and was a second-round pick by the Giants. Went to college one year, he was 185, and the next year 215. Here's Uribe at first. 7-2 Dodgers. Fouled away. Where Uribe got $6,200 to sign, Nate got $572,000. So the batting gloves worn during batting practice now have entered the game officially with Nate Scherholz. Fouled away. Last year, he hit .242 against right-handers with only 2 home runs. But he hit .370 against left-handers, so just the opposite of what you might think. 2-2. Ball 3. Scherholz played third base pretty well. Giants moved him to the outfield about 5 years ago. Last year in the spring, he had a bulging disc in his back. Resulted in sciatica, but he was able to play. He was also on the DL July into August with a strained left hip. So Scherholz batting for Wellmeyer. Dodgers 7, Giants 2. We're in the 5th inning. 1 out. Rowand on deck. Check swing, foul ball. For Todd Wellmeyer, he went 4 innings. He gave up 6 hits, 7 runs.
Interesting, too, when you look at your scorebook about Wellmeyer, contradictory of terms, really. That's ball 4. None of the 12 outs gotten by Wellmeyer were in the air. He got 8 ground balls, 4 strikeouts, and yet he gave up 3 home runs. So the mystery of pitching. So for Padilla, all of a sudden, some troubles. 3 singles and a walk for 2 runs. I don't believe the way he rubbed at his arm meant anything. I mean, if he were hurting, he would have talked to Honeycutt or to Stan Conti, to somebody. But it certainly looked strange to see him pulling and rubbing at his arm with a face that looked like he was in pain, then going out where he had retired 9 in a row. He had only made 52 pitches in 4 innings. He had made only 6 pitches in the 4th inning, and he's made 20 so far in this inning. So here is Rowan hitting .304. Aaron with a home run, 6 runs batted in, has struck out and popped up. So 3 singles and a walk. Giants are on the board. And Rowan is hit. Aaron Rowan staying down wisely. Remember, Wellmeyer got close to Matt Kemp and sent him sprawling, but I really don't think you connect either one as any kind of a battle. Rowan still not quite ready to get up. Interesting talking about it. Remember at the start of the game about there were nights going back to those Giant Dodger games with DeRocher and Dressen where you really worried. You were frightened for players. That feeling has disappeared, I guess, since Don Drysdale stopped pitching. God rest his soul. So Aaron Rowan hit by the pitch. We'd have to look at it again to see where it got him. I believe mostly on the helmet. Let's see. Yeah, the helmet took the blow, but of course the concussion is like being hit by a hammer, helmet or not. He has the earpiece, and Aaron apparently will be coming out of the game. Well, we certainly hope that he'll be okay. My gosh. So Rowan hit by the pitch and forced to leave, and we're waiting to see about a runner. The last we checked, the Giants had 6 outfielders. Shearholtz used as a pinch hitter. So let's wait and see. Eugenio Velez will come out and run and stay in the game, I think, for Aaron Howard. So Rowan comes out, Velez runs, and for the Giants, they have the bases loaded. Edgar Renteria, the hitter, and still only 1 out. So Uribe at third, Shearholtz at second, Velez at first, and ball 1 to Edgar Renteria, who has struck out and popped up. Renteria hitting .361 with 8 grand slams, so he could certainly get the Giants back into the game. And he hits a line drive at DeWitt. The throw over to Loney to get the double play, and just like that, the inning is over. So a 4-3 double play on the line drive, and the Dodgers hanging on to a 7-2 lead. Tonight. So here's our text question. How many wins do you think it will take to win the National League West? 82 to 85, 86 to 90, or 91 or more? Text your answer 86212 on your cell phone, and we'll get you thinking on that. Eugenio Velez is now in center field for Aaron Rowan. Waldis Joaquin is the new pitcher for the Giants. By the way, to save your nervous system, we didn't get to it because Edgar Renteria hit that first pitch to Blake DeWitt. But Renteria had a grand slam years ago against Padilla, but this time Edgar lined into the double play. So now Joaquin ready to work. Padilla made 23 pitches to get through in that fifth inning. One ball and one strike to count. Reed Johnson finishing up for Manny Ramirez, who went out with tightness in the right calf. Runs up, 2-1 to count. Waldis Joaquin from the Dominican Republic signed as a free agent with the Giants 6 years ago. 24 years old, Christmas Day. 6'2", 190. Fastball, slider, changeup. Throws hard. That's a strike. 2-2. Has had the habit, and of course he's really just starting out, had the habit of pitching away a lot. They're trying to get him to throw more inside to the hitters. He had Tommy John surgery 4 years ago. Line drive, base hit. Ball bobbled by Velez, who gets it back. Well, I hope we get some good news on Aaron Rowan. Our prayers are certainly with him. He was able to walk up under his own power, so we certainly hope he's okay. Meanwhile, Johnson with the base hit and Loney coming up. Dodgers with 7 hits, 6 of them with the top 4 hitters. Loney is 0 for 2, struck out twice. strike, 0-1. His fastball anywhere from 95 to 98. His slider 88 to 89. So he has a live arm. 0-1. His first name is Waldis, Waldis. I assume Hispanically that's close to Walter. That's up the middle. Johnson will hold. So Joaquin comes in and gives up back-to-back singles to center field. And with nobody out, Casey Blake coming up. Dodgers 7 runs on 8 hits. And the Giants 2 runs on 3 hits. Blake single to left, grounded out, 1 for 2. Dodgers scored 3 in the first. Kemp homered with a man aboard. Ethier homered. And then in the second inning, Ethier hit the first grand slam of his career. Dodgers led 7-0 against Todd Wellmeyer. And then in the 5th inning, Padilla gave up 3 singles, a walk, and a hit batter for 2 runs, and was fortunate that Renteria's line drive was right at Blake DeWitt. 1 ball and no strikes. One and 0. Fastball 1-1. Well, he's throwing hard, but of course most of the old timers will tell you that the speed gun doesn't mean a thing. It's impressive to hit 98 or something like that, but the ball doesn't move. Big league hitters are going to hit it. 1-1. Ball 2. Waldis Joaquin made the usual stops. 2 years ago he was at San Jose. He had 10 games with the Giants last year. Last year he was with the Giants with Fresno and Connecticut. He's been in 3 games so far, and the young fella has certainly not been impressive. His earned run average is over 10, but it's very early. 3-1 to count. Casey Blake. In there. So he's on 95, 98. 3-2 the count. Johnson at second, Loney at first, nobody out. Runners go, and it's foul back. So after all those fastballs, Joaquin came back with a slider, and Casey just did get a piece of it. So Johnson back to second, Loney to first, nobody out. 3-2 the count. Runners went once, runners will go again, and ball 4. And for Joaquin, he had a very awkward follow through. He almost fell down. There he goes, bracing his hand. In fact, he did take a knee. So the bases are loaded, nobody out. Right after the Giants thought they had started to get back into the game, the Dodgers would like to blow them out of the water. Blake DeWitt grounded to second, struck out, and Russell Martin on deck. No slams for DeWitt in his young career, but look at his numbers. .545 batting average. Ball 1. 7 runs, 8 hits for the Dodgers. 2 runs, 3 hits for the Giants. And ball 2. And now Dave Righetti thinks I better go out there and talk to the young man, see if I can't calm him down a little bit. Only 23, 24 Christmas Day. All right, Righetti has done the best he can in trying to get the young right-hander ready. And DeWitt, with the count his way, has Reed Johnson at third, James Loney at second, and Casey Blake at first. 2 balls and no strikes. And ball 3. Wildest Joaquin. Three and 0 to DeWitt. Very high. That wasn't even close. So everybody moves up 90 feet. DeWitt gets a run batted in. The Dodgers now lead 8-2. The bases are still loaded for Russell Martin, and it's not much of a birthday present for Bruce Bochy. 55 today. Ned Colletti, the Dodger general manager, 56 today. So Russell Martin, who has a couple of grand slams. He had one against Pittsburgh, one against the Cubs. The one against the Cubs last year in August. There's a breaking ball for a strike. 0-1. Brandon Metters gets up and will begin to warm up in the Giant bullpen. 8-2 Dodgers, 5th inning. So he got the slider for a strike. He misses with a fastball, and the count 1-1. Gave up back-to-back singles to Reed Johnson and James Loney, and then back-to-back walks to Casey Blake and Blake DeWitt. Slider on the hands, fought off, 1-2 the count. Martin twice grounded to short, 0 for 2. Hit his first home run on Wednesday. Fouled away. Still 1-2, nobody out. Breaking ball to third. Sandoval to second for 1. A bounce throw to first for the double play. Scoring is Loney as Martin hits into the double play. So the Dodgers add 1 and lead 9-2. So you have Casey Blake at third. Loney carries in the run. Dodgers have scored twice in the inning. And here is Padilla. Walked and rode home on the home run, the grand slam by Ethier. Last time up, grounded out. Ball 1. 9 runs, 8 hits for the Dodgers. Remember, they won 9-5 opening day. They lost 9-7 the next game, and then won last night 6-5. So they scored 20 runs in the first 3 games, and now they have 9 more tonight. Strike. 2-1. So Torrey has to be pleased with the offense, and Padilla is trying to put a smile on his face with the pitching. High bouncer up the middle. Renteria behind the bag will take care of it. But the Dodgers settle 4-2, and at the end of 5, it's 9-2 favor of the Dodgers. The very first Giant Dodger game in California, the Los Angeles Dodgers, the San Francisco Giants, that was played at Seal Stadium in San Francisco, and the Giants put it to the Dodgers 8-0. However, the second day, the Dodgers finally won their first game for Los Angeles. They beat the Giants 13-1. Left-handed Johnny Padres, who had been the big hero, giving the Dodgers the World's Championship in Brooklyn. He had the honor of winning the first Dodger game against the Giants, 13-1. There were home runs in that game by Dodger third baseman Dick Gray, and there was also a home run by soon-to-be Hall of Famer Duke Snider. 1958. Wow. Let's go back to this one. At Seal Stadium, they had about 22,000 people. It was packed. A small park. We once in a while have talked about it. We were in the last row, and the fans were right in front of us. And boy, did they have fun giving the Dodger broadcasters a bad time. Talking about fun, Sandoval hits it into the bleachers. And it's 9-3 in favor of the Dodgers. So Pablo hits his second home run of the year. Three runs and 4 hits against Padilla, who for 4 innings was brilliant. Then in the 5th inning, gave up 3 hits, a walk, and a hit batter, and he was very fortunate. That line drive with Renteria could easily have gone into right center. Instead, it was right at Blake DeWitt, and the Dodgers got the double play. So the Panda strikes, and it's 9-3 Dodgers, and here's Huff. Aubrey Huff walked, grounded out, 0 for 1. That one home run was inside the park. Popped in the air, foul. Casey Blake coming over, doubtful, out of play. In Seal Stadium, with a 22,000 crowd, the fans would turn around, and Jerry and I would be right there, and they would talk. They would say, "Do you have a match?" Or we were reading commercials live, as they say, instead of being recorded. And we were doing a beer commercial for a brewery here in Los Angeles, East Side Old Tap Lager. I guess you'd have to be around here a long time to remember East Side Old Tap Lager. That's popped in the air. Martin coming over, Blake coming down. Say, Dodger fans can now enjoy the excitement of Viva Los Dodgers every Sunday, presented by State Farm and Time Warner Cable. Party begins at 11:15 a.m., includes a performance by Omar Asol before the Dodgers and Giants take the field. For tickets, visit Dodgers.com or call 866-DODGERS. One away, and here's Mark DeRosa. Yeah, I can still remember reading the East Side Old Tap Lager beer commercial, and the fans would turn around and holler the name of every beer that they could think of. That was our introduction. And when we first went to Candlestick Park, I wish I could remember the name of the clothing company. Believe it or not, it was very cold and windy, as I'm sure you've heard at Candlestick, but they had coats for us. But the coats were hairy coats that looked like, when you put it on, that you wanted to look like a gorilla or a bear. But I'm not sure if they were just trying to give us a bad time or not, but we wore those coats. They were funny looking, but they kept us warm. Oh, yes, the Giants and the Dodgers. That's stroked into right center. Kemp right there. So DeRosa an out, 2 down here in the 7th. Excuse me. So here's Molina, popped up, single to right, 1 for 2. Dodgers scored 3 in the first, 4 in the second. Each team scored twice in the 5th. And now the Giants get 1 in the 6th. A strike to Molina, who popped up, single to right, 1 for 2, and is not very happy about that call. His body language tells everybody in the ballpark. 0-1. Fastball popped up. DeWitt going out, but it's an easier play for Andre Ethier. And that's that. So the Giants get 1, but the Dodgers lead 9-3. Out in front early in the first 2 innings. In the first inning, Matt Kemp hit one into right center field in the bleachers with Furcal aboard. Andre Ethier followed with a home run. That made it 3-0. And then in the second inning with the bases loaded, Andre hit his first grand slam of his career, and the Dodgers led 7-0. Then it was 7-2, 9-2. Now it's 9-3. Eli Whiteside will take over now for Benji Molina. So Whiteside, the new Giant catcher. Rafael Furcal walked, singled again. 0-1 the count. Fly ball to left field, trotting over is Mark DeRosa. One out, and the batter Matt Kemp. You know, it's interesting as we watch Furcal go back to the dugout. On the homestand, the Dodger leadoff men have reached half the time. 17 of 34 prior to this at bat. And they've come around to score in 13 of the 17 times they've reached base. The little things mean a lot, and for the Dodgers, getting that leadoff man aboard has been extremely important. Ball one to Matt Kemp. Hit a 2-run home run, walked, and struck out. Matt has his 4-game hitting streak of consecutive home runs. But interesting, one home run went over the center field wall. The other 3 have gone to right center field. And boy, you have to be strong as a right-hand hitter to hit them out there. 3-0. And Ethier waiting his turn again. They might let Matt swing, although leading 9-3, he gets ball 4. So Kemp walks a second time. Young Waldis Joaquin having his troubles. That's his 3rd walk in an inning and a third. And here's Andre Ethier. 2 for 3, 2 home runs, 5 runs batted in. You know, seeing the walk to Matt Kemp brings up that note that we talked about the Giants not getting a walk. They had 351 walks. That's one of the lowest totals in the last half century. So for Bruce Bochy, he had a lot of, you could say aggressive, but they were really impatient. There goes the runner, Kemp, on a bounce throw. He is out, coming off the bag. Well, it's the Giants and the Dodgers, a little bit of a surprise with Ethier at the plate to see Kemp try to go, leading 9-3. And on a bounce throw from Whiteside, he is in there. Watch the foot. Off in the air, and alertly Renteria has a lot of soul. So a good heads-up play by Edgar Renteria, and we have 2 out. 2 balls and 1 strike. So Matt, with the Dodgers leading by 6, tries to steal one. Can't anchor himself to the bag. By the way, you remember the other night when second base was loose? You know how they kept him in place for a while? Because the stem just didn't fit in the hole in the ground. They used tongue depressors. Did you ever hear that routine with Jerry Seinfeld where he's giving doctors a bad time because they make him take off his clothes, and he has to sit on the butcher paper in the room waiting for the doctor to while away the time. He says, I lick all the tongue depressors. That's a terrible thought. Funny, though. So Ethier gets the walk, and here's Reed Johnson finishing up for Manny Ramirez. Johnson singled after Manny went 0 for 2 and had to leave. Tightness in the right calf. Fly ball to right center. Velez is there. Eugenio makes the play, and that'll be that. No runs, no hits, a man left. And at the end of 6, 9-3 Dodgers. Is brought to you by your Southern California Lexus dealer, who invites you to test drive a luxurious Lexus today. Visit Lexus.com. Dodgers and Vicente Padilla 9 and the Giants 3. This is interesting in the sense when you looked at the Giants last year, they were characterized by low-scoring games. The Giants averaged 4 runs a game and gave up 3.8 runs per game. So if you put the combined runs in a Giant game last year, it was the second lowest since 1993. Well, the point we're trying to make, they played a lot of low-run games except when they played the Dodgers. The Dodgers beat them here 11-1, 7-2, 8-0, and 12-1. And up at AT&T Park, the Dodgers won 9-1, 10-3. Padilla beat them 9-1. So despite the fact they were in a lot of tough one-run games last year, it was not that case against the Dodgers. And now here's their first meeting of the year. They come in here having won 7 out of 9, their best start since 2003, and the Dodgers are whacking them around 9-3, just like last year. That's a strike, and down goes Bowker. So he strikes out a second time. Padilla had 5 strikeouts in the first 3 innings, and then did not get another one until right now. So Juan Uribe will be the batter, and then Joaquin is due up, and he'll give way to a left-handed batter. Uribe grounded out, single to right, 1-4-2. Giants have already used Nate Scherholz, who walked in the 5th inning. One and one. Padilla 4-3 lifetime against the Giants. 0-1 after his loss opening day in Pittsburgh. He had made 86 pitches coming into this 7th inning. 2-1. Foul back. That's fastball alley directly below us behind home. 2-2 the count. You're allowed to blow on your hands now. Remember, years ago, unless you had permission, if you blew onto your hand while you were up on the mound, it would add a ball to the count. Foul ball. Yep. So he's still there. 2-2. Uribe hitting .353. One of 7 Giants hitting .300 or better. Uribe came into the game hitting .375 against Padilla. With a base hit, he is hit safely now in 9 of the Giants' 10. He's also giving the Dodgers a pretty bad time, counting last year, but not that pitch on a big curveball. But here's a look at how our text message voting is going so far. Remember, we asked, how many wins do you think it'll take to win the National League West? 82 to 85, 86 to 90, or 91 or more? So far, 54% of you, it's going to take 91 or more. Angel Torres, a switch hitter batting left-handed, will be coming up. Text your answer to 86212 on your cell phone. And ball 1 to Angel. 7 strikeouts for Padilla. One ball and no strikes on the corner. We had a misprint on Torres. It said Angel Torres, but then on further investigation, it's Andres. He's from Puerto Rico, a track star in high school, and was originally signed by the Tigers. Hit down the line, foul. Switch hitter batting left-handed, 5'10", 190. Came up to Detroit in 2002. Eventually went to the Rangers, then to the Giants last year. One and two the count. Torres, almost a year ago, it'll be an anniversary on Sunday. Last year, he hit his first major league home run in 5 years. And that's hit down the line, slicing foul and out of play. Torres, who was a track star, when he does hit a home run, he runs around the bases a la Pete Rose. In fact, he hit a home run at Rochester, and his manager afterwards said, "You're the first player in my career I miss shaking hands with because you ran by me so fast." 3-2. Went to junior college, Miami-Dade Community College. And a high pop fly. Loney going back. DeWitt angling over. Ethia joining the group, and it's DeWitt. Nice play by Blake. So for Padilla, he sets him down 1-2-3. And at the end of 6 1/2, 9-3 Dodgers, and the crowd now asked to join God Bless America, followed by Take Me Out to the Ball Game. Brandon Metters comes in with the Dodgers leading 9-3. So it's been Wellmeyer, Joaquin, and now Metters. Brandon out of Tuscaloosa, Alabama. And he was a closer in college at Mississippi State. And he is greeted by a bullet to center and a base hit for Loney. The James struck out twice, singled twice. And the batter will be Casey Blake. Dodgers now 9 runs on 9 hits. Casey Blake single, grounded out, walk, takes a strike, 0-1. Just thinking, the Guns N' Roses lead guitarist Slash has performed tonight. That's in the air, foul, heading towards the stands and out of play. So Slash, very famous with Guns N' Roses. Brandon Metters out there on the mound for the Giants is a rather accomplished guitarist. He's played clubs around Tucson for years. He's played at Tucson Electric Park. And he can play just about anything, they say, from straight country to Alice in Chains. Oh, yeah. 1-2 the count. Metters right now trying to stay away from any sour notes. 9-3 Dodgers, bottom of the 7th inning. Metters, 30 years old, 6'1", 195. Originally signed by the Diamondbacks, and he was with them in 05, 6, and 7. Came back up from the minors in 08. Line drive, base hit to left field. Rounding second and holding on is Loney. So first and second, nobody out, and Blake DeWitt coming up. So for Casey Blake, he goes 2 for 3. And Metters is now in a jam. So the Dodgers in somewhat of a hitterish mood. 9 runs, 10 hits, including 3 home runs and a grand slam. Blake DeWitt grounded to second, struck out, and walked. We're in the 7th. DeWitt followed by Russell Martin. And ball 1. Loney and Blake out there. That's off the plate. 2-0 the count. Metters basically fastball, curveball, slider, working on a cutter and a changeup. He claims his 12-6 curveball was a sheer accident. He was trying to throw a slider. Comes back with a pretty good fastball. 2-1. Left-hand batters last year hit .258 against him. Right-handers .242. Foul back. In October of last year, Brandon Metters underwent arthroscopic surgery on his left knee. Two and two the count. 9-3 Dodgers. Bottom of the 7th. DeWitt batting .208. Off speed and just flared over the glove of Renteria. Scoring easily from second is Loney, and the Dodgers lead 10-3. So DeWitt gets a base hit and his second run batted in. Loney brings it home. And the batter now is Russell Martin. Of the 8 position players, Martin is the only one without a hit. Grounded out twice, hit into a double play. Nobody out. Breaking ball strike. Garrett Anderson comes out on deck to bat for Vicente Padilla. Russ Ortiz throwing in the Dodger bullpen, and of course Russ pitched for the Giants. He'll be getting ready. 10 runs, 11 hits for the Dodgers, 3 runs, 4 hits for the Giants. So the Dodgers, who scored a lot of runs against the Giants last year, come right back with 10 tonight in their first meeting. And that's sliced to right. Tagging at second is Blake. The catch is made. Blake coming over. The throw to third, not in time. And down to second base goes DeWitt. So Martin flies out, but he gets the men over to second and third. And now Garrett Anderson will be coming up to bat for Vicente Padilla. Anderson hitting .222, couple of RBIs. Padilla does a great job going 7 to rest the bullpen. He allowed 3 runs, only 4 hits, striking out 7. Had only one problem. That was the 5th inning, and he was very fortunate. Bases loaded, 1 out. Renteria came up and hit a line drive right at Blake DeWitt, who turned it into a double play. That was his only really tough inning. He also had surrendered a home run to Pablo Sandoval. So here's Garrett, 0-1 the count. Torrey has tremendous respect and admiration for Garrett. Joe said every time I turn around and look, Garrett's sitting there with a bat in his hand. And he is so well prepared. He's a great teacher for the younger players. Garrett Anderson will be 38 the end of June. And grounds one, smothered by Renteria. And now he has DeWitt in a rundown. Now he's going to go after Casey Blake. So Renteria running Blake and tags him out. Over to third base goes DeWitt. On the fielder's choice, Anderson is at first. And that's the second out in the inning. So Edgar Renteria was running loose. First makes a great stop. Now he looks at Blake DeWitt. Now he goes after Casey Blake. Still watching where DeWitt is. Running Blake towards the plate and tags him out. So a lot of play from Edgar Renteria. Rare that you see a shortstop, after fielding the ground ball, tagging out a runner about 30 feet from home plate. Ball 1 to Rafael. So Blake DeWitt at third. Garrett Anderson at first with 2 out. 10-3 Dodgers. For a call, 2 singles and a walk. 2 for 3. Strike. 1-1. In the dirt, nice save by Whiteside. Tomorrow afternoon, Tim Lincecum and Charlie Hager. And then Sunday afternoon, Barry Zito and Clayton Kershaw. 2-1. Ball 3. So Metters is struggling. 10 runs, 11 hits for the Dodgers. 3 in the first, 4 in the second. And then 3 since then. 2 in the 5th, 1 in the 7th. Well, very high. curveball that didn't break. It was only in the 60s anyway. So the bases are loaded yet again. And the batter will be Matt Kemp. For Bruce Bochy, a day to remember on his birthday, but not a happy one at all. A day to forget. The last time the Dodgers had 2 slams in a game, Adrian Beltre and Shawn Green, 10 years ago. And now Kemp has an opportunity to see if he can't duplicate Andre Ethier's grand slam way back in the 2nd inning. Ball 1. One ball and no strikes. Right, 1-1. So it's been Wellmeyer, Joaquin, and Metters. The Dodgers with Padilla and apparently soon to be Russ Ortiz. The Dodgers have Blake DeWitt at third, Garrett Anderson at second, Rafael Furcal at first. 2 out. And a line drive caught and dropped. The ball is in play and the out is recorded. 1-3. So the Dodgers have to settle for 1, leave 3, and at the end of 7, 10-3 Dodgers, and enter Russ Ortiz. And for the Dodgers, after a great effort from Vicente Padilla, he carries the club into the 8th inning. And Russ Ortiz coming out of the Dodger bullpen to try and finish it off. So Ortiz will be facing the top of the order. That means Eugenio Velez, Edgar Renteria, Pablo Sandoval. If you look back in Russ Ortiz, you find out that he was originally signed by the Giants in 1995 out of the University of Oklahoma. And he came to the Giants in 1998. Stayed with them through 2002 and then began to travel. 2 years with the Braves, 2 years with the D-backs, then the Orioles, back to the Giants again, then the Astros, and now the Dodgers. So Russ Ortiz, he'll be 36 in June, working on Velez, who had to finish up the game. for Aaron Rowan. We didn't hear anything about Aaron, but our prayers are that he's fine and he'll be able to play again. Remember, he was hit by a pitch, opening up matters in the 5th inning. That's a strike. 1-1 the count. One and one to Velez with Edgar Renteria on deck. Little low ball 2-2-1. Russ Ortiz with Ramon Ortiz. Neither one has pitched well according to the ERA. Ramon over 7 and Russ over 8. Check swing. They're going to look at third. Swing, says Mark Wagner. 2-2 to Eugenio Velez. Velez from San Pedro de Macorís in the Dominican. He was selected by the Giants out of the Blue Jays organization. 2-2. High roller to Furcal. Boy, he flies down the line, doesn't he? So Velez taps to short, 1 away in the 8th. And the batter will be Edgar Renteria. Renteria struck out, popped up, and then with the bases loaded, having hit a grand slam against Padilla a few years ago, Edgar this time hit a bullet, but right at Blake DeWitt, who turned it into an easy double play. 0-1 the count. You might notice that we're staying with a one camera shot. We're having some technical difficulties. 0-2 the count. So we'll ask your patience to bear with us. Renteria will be followed by Pablo Sandoval. The third baseman homered his last at bat. 1-2. Giants and Dodgers tomorrow afternoon. Tim Lincecum 2-0. Charlie Hager no record. Sunday, Barry Zito 2-0. Clayton Kershaw 1-0. Off speed, Renteria can't get the curveball. 2 down in the 8th inning. 8 Giants have struck out, and the batter Sandoval grounded out twice and hit a home run. The only report we have on Aaron Rowan is that he was taken to a local hospital for further examination and for precautionary measures, I'm sure. That's a strike to Sandoval. Rowan hit at least partially, if not all the way, on the helmet, but it was a nasty blow in the 5th inning. Hopefully the earpiece saved him from any serious injury. We paid attendance tonight in the first Giant-Dodger game of the year. 49,319. 49,319. 2 out, 0-2 the count to Sandoval. At the knuckles, just did get him out of the way. Sandoval, despite his size, I mean, he is very heavy. They're saying he could very well lead the league in hitting. Maybe. He's hitting .341. 2-2 the count. He hit .345 2 years ago, and struck out only 14 times. In the minor leagues, he had over 2,000 at-bats and struck out only 248 at-bats off the plate. How's he doing this year? He has struck out 3 times. Three and two the count. 10-3 Dodgers. Well, he gets him. So 2 strikeouts for Russ Ortiz. Giants go out in order. The last 9 in a row retired since Sandoval's home run. And we're heading for the bottom of the 8th. 10-3 Dodgers. And they're cruising 10-3 in the bottom of the 8th inning. Andre Ethier, Reed Johnson, and James Loney. Ethier with 2 home runs and a walk tonight. 1 home run with the bases empty and the other with the bases full. So Andre 5 RBIs. Off speed spinner in there for a strike. His curveball is in the 60s. 0-1. And 2. So Wellmeyer, then Joaquin, and now Metters. Dodgers scored 7 against Wellmeyer, 1 against Joaquin, and 2 against Metters. So Brandon trying to get some outs. That curveball is lifted to right center. Velez, however, is there. 1 away in the 8th inning, and Reed Johnson coming up. Johnson finishing up for Manny Ramirez, who had grounded out twice. Manny had a tightness in the right calf, and of course the Dodgers did not want him to wind up tearing the calf, so they took him out. Reed has singled and flied out 1 for 2. Scored a run. That's right. Reed Johnson is a very good player and figures to be extremely important for the Dodgers all year. Popped it up, and I mean big league pop fly. Eli Whiteside in fair ground and then in foul. Tough play. Fine catch. 2 out. Eli Whiteside figures to be the fella they will rely upon to give Benji Molina some time off. He was with the Giants briefly last year and hit .228. He was originally signed by the Baltimore Orioles. All-American at Delta State. So 2 out, and here's James Loney. Curveball, misses with that one. Ball 1. Loney struck out twice and then singled twice. He has scored twice. And slaps it to the gap. That's going to land in front of DeRosa. So Loney goes 3 for 5. For the Dodgers, 12 hits now. And Casey Blake, single to left, grounded out, walk, single to left, run down by Edgar Renteria and tagged out on his way to home plate. A clean shaven Casey hitting .375. Strike. No balls and 1 strike. 1-1. When the Giants come up in the 9th inning, they'll have Aubrey Huff, Mark DeRosa, and then Eli Whiteside. Ground ball to third. They'll get the force play. So no runs ahead, a man left, and we're heading to the 9th inning. 10-3 Dodgers. By your Southern California Toyota dealers, and by Carl's Jr. $6 burgers made with 100% Black Angus beef. Dodgers leading the Giants 10-3 in the 9th inning. Aubrey Huff has walked, grounded out, and fouled out. First baseman 0 for 2, hitting .257. Line drive, base hit to right. In fact, Ethier really has to hustle to hold it to a single, and does. So Huff 1 for 3 with a base hit. Well, here are the final numbers for our text message question. How many wins do you think it'll take to win the National League West? And 42% of you said 91 or more. Remember last year the Dodgers won 95 to finish up 3 in front of Colorado. High high fly ball to the gap in right center. Ethier on the dead ringer, and this one's going to be off the wall. Huff to third on a booming double by Mark DeRosa. The Russ Ortiz will have runners at second and third and nobody out. Eli Whiteside, the young catcher, coming up, and Rick Honeycutt on the phone. Remember, Joe Torre announced before the game that Jonathan Broxton would not see service tonight. So here's Whiteside, 6'2", 220, out of New Albany, Mississippi. Went to Delta State. Signed with the Orioles, then with the Twins, and now with the Giants. Last year, Whiteside hit .262 against right-handers and less than 100 against left-handers. Ball one. In his early days, in his formative days, he was taught to catch by Rick Dempsey, former Oriole and Dodger. Then he worked with Andy Etchebarren, so he's had some pretty good teachers. That's right, 2-1. Ramon Troncoso answers the bell in the bullpen just in case. There's Ramon. Foul back, 2-2. Whiteside with a home run, 3 runs batted in, hitting .300. Wednesday against the Pirates, he hit a 3-run home run and a double. So he went 2 for 3. Ortiz now goes all the way with him. For Eli Whiteside, by the way, he was the catcher for Jonathan Sanchez's no-hitter, and he was also the catcher when Sanchez shut out Pittsburgh the other day. First base open, 3-2. And down he goes. Pitch off the plate. Eli asking the plate umpire Dan Asanya, was it a strike? Dan no doubt said now. John Bowker coming up. Russ Ortiz with 3 strikeouts, so 10 Giants have struck out tonight. Bowker struck out twice and grounded out, 0 for 3. Big overhand 12-6 curveball, and it's good for a strike. One out, second and third for the Giants. 9th inning, 10-3 Dodgers. A shattered bat, a ground ball to Loney. He'll take it to the bag. The run scores. That's the second out and makes it 10-4. So Bowker breaks his bat, does pick up a run batted in. So 2 out. Juan Uribe the batter with a runner at third. So Padilla was charged with 3 runs for 7 innings. Ortiz has now charged for 1. Trying to get the last out, take it home. Strike with a fastball, 0-1. Uribe grounded to second, single to right to drive in 2 runs and struck out. Uribe batting .343. Now the curveball. So first the fastball, then the curve, and Russ is out in front of him. 0-2. Crowd on its feet asking Ortiz to finish him off. Back. A reminder again, tomorrow afternoon, Tim Lincecum, 2-0, Cy Young winner in 2008 and 2009. Knuckleballer Charlie Hager will go against him. And then Sunday, Barry Zito and Clayton Kershaw. 1-2. Dodgers 10 runs and 12 hits. 3 home runs, 1 by Kemp, so he's homered in 4 straight. 2 by Ethier, 1 with the bases empty, 1 with the bases full. And that's going to be hit over the head of Blake DeWitt for a base hit. Scoring is DeRosa, and the Dodgers now lead 10-5. For Uribe, his second hit and his third run batted in. So the Dodgers still in the comfort zone. Travis Ishikawa will now come up and bat. So Ishikawa battling for Metters. Uribe at first. Ortiz now has given up 3 hits in the inning. Travis Ishikawa, born in Seattle, lives in Danville. Off speed and away, ball 2. Ishikawa, drafted by the Giants back in 2002. That's a strike. And that's high. Last year, Ishikawa hit .259 with 9 home runs against right-hand pitching. Plays a little outfield and a lot of first base. Breaking ball in there. So Russ goes 3-2. 2 down, 9th inning. 2 runs in. The crowd of 49,319. Fouled away. Waiting on deck, Eugenio Velez. Giants had been retired 9 in a row until Huff opened up the 9th inning with a single. They've scored twice, trailed by 5. And that's ball 4. So Russ Ortiz is struggling now. And Joe Torre signaling he wants Ramon Troncoso. So Ortiz came in, retired the side in order in the 8th. But in a little bit of trouble here in the 9th. He's given up 2. Dodger lead is now 10-5. Troncoso coming in. We'll be back. and Ramon Troncoso with an earned run average of 1.5 coming in. Troncoso has allowed 1 run in 5 2/3 innings. Dodgers got 7 strong innings from Vicente Padilla. Then Ortiz retired the side in order in the 8th, had troubles here in the 9th, but he did get 2 out. And here is Velez finishing up for Aaron Rowan. Velez grounded out in the 8th inning. Ball 1. Ramon Troncoso, 27 years old, and a brand new daddy, a baby girl, Isabella. He's from the Dominican Republic. 1 ball and no strikes. Velez hitting .273. And Troncoso now 2-0, and on deck, Edgar Renteria. 10 runs, 12 hits for the Dodgers. 5 runs, 7 hits for the Giants. 2 out. That's a strike. 2-1. Troncoso's mom, a teacher, and she encouraged him to achieve in academics, and he did well in those subjects, especially science and history. 2-1. Fastball whacked into right field, and Velez hit it into the bullpen, and it's 10-8 in favor of the Dodgers. Whoa! Did Velez jump all over that thing? The Velez home run, 3 runs batted in. For Velez, his second home run, and he now has 6 runs batted in. And there was no doubt about that one. So the Giants have hung a high 5 in the 9th inning, trying to give Bruce Bochy a birthday present. Bounce it back to the box by Renteria, and that is it. For the Giants, 5 runs in the 9th inning. They had 2 singles, a double, and a home run, but it wasn't enough. And the Dodgers hang on 10-8. A reminder tomorrow, Big Fox, that would be Channel 11 for the Lincecum-Hager game. And then Sunday, we'll be back with you on Prime Ticket. So the Dodgers win it 10-8. Puts the Giants at 7-3, and the Dodgers at the 500 mark at 5-5. And for all of us, to all of you,